Hi, most of the organizations spend fortunes on offsites and team bonding. Yet, trust and collaborations rarely start in the boardroom. They begin with, in the leadership Titans conversations. We have Prachee M to decode the inner clarity, self awareness, emotional balance, and value alignment is the foundation for every high performance team. Team building falls Team building fails when self understanding is missing. We have the honor of Prachee M, business communication and leadership coach, NLP practitioner, joining us as our esteemed speaker to the podcast. Let's welcome our speaker to the podcast event and dive into the topic. Hi, Prachee. Welcome to our
Hello,
podcast.
good evening.
Good evening.
Namaste. Yeah.
A small intro about yourself, Prachi, on your journey of career and your personal pointers to the audience benefit.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm absolutely glad to be here today on your podcast. Thank you so much. So to start with, my introduction. My name is Prachee Mahambare, and I am a business communication and leadership coach by profession. I did my post graduation in economics from Mumbai University. I was a gold medalist of Mumbai University. Was working as a research analyst, and life takes turns. I mean, sometimes, and then I ended up becoming a trainer. So I have been in this industry of facilitation for around 14 years now. I conducted the training programs for more than 85 companies. And the journey is still on.
Wonderful. 80 companies is a great achievement because training people, managing people is a great skill that we need to look at what is happening. Now, coming to our first pointer that we want to understand from you, how does inner confusion silently break the team performance?
Okay, that's an interesting question. See, let's understand what team is and why team is so important. Because, see, it's not about a star performer. It's like I have only one star performer in my team and my team would really do well. No, it's not happening.
Hmm.
I'll give an example. It was the US relay team. Okay. And what happened was they were not able to even qualify, in the final round. So they actually tried to understand what was happening in the team. So what they were doing is they actually had the best, players, the runners, the fastest runners in their team.
Hmm.
But then what they were doing is they were adding them in the last at the last moment. So they were not even getting the time to have that bond. And while the other teams, what they were doing is it's like they were practicing together right before the match, and so that is how the bond happened. So it is never about a star performer, it's not about an individual, it's about the team and how you actually drive the entire thing. So now let's coming to your question is about the inner confusion. So let's talk about inner confusion. What is inner confusion? Inner confusion is, see, actually it is very natural to be confused about something. It's okay. I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. It happens with everyone. But then we have to understand the repercussions of it.
Hmm.
So when there is no clarity, there is no confidence, right?
Right.
And
Right.
when I don't have the confidence as a leader, okay, then how will I expect my team to perform well?
Hmm.
Now clarity is about your values. Okay, if I am not clear about that, I'm not clear about the direction. Okay, I'm not clear about the priorities. Just imagine what would happen with the team. It's like when there is no what do you say, the clarity about all these things. So when you communicate with your team, that confusion is definitely it is seen by the
Hmm.
team, and that is how the team performance gets hampered. There was an article, okay, let me just quote that, and they talk about one very nice and very interesting concept called double bind. In the sense, now it happens in our home also sometimes. Dad says that you have to do this, and at the same time mother says that no, don't do that. Okay, so
Okay.
there is a confusion,
Hmm.
right? So this can also happen, like you are told to do something, at the same time you are told not to do that.
Yeah.
Now how it happens, I'll tell you. Suppose there is a sales manager,
Hmm.
okay, and now he is told that you have to give these calls, okay, maybe the number of calls daily. Now, at the same time, he is told that don't spend too much time on this. Now, what is that? He is confused. So, when you actually use the words, the instructions that are
Hmm.
given, the priority that is stated, that has to be absolutely clear when it comes to any kind of a communication with your team. Otherwise, how would he has to be told that this is your priority. Okay, so this is how you're going to go about it. So, in your communication, there has to be absolute clarity. Otherwise, the whole team performance will go haywire. And then we might have this problem of like, how are we going to do that? Now, I'll tell you like how we can come out of this loop of not having the clarity. The first thing is self awareness. If you see emotional intelligence, the first and the foundation thing is self awareness. And this is for the leader, especially. Now, if you ask me, like, why we talk about leader always, is because he is the driving force, right? And that is why a leader has to be self aware. In fact, like, there was a survey done, and in that survey, it was told that around more than 60% of the leaders, they thought they were self aware, but when they actually were interviewed, the whole data came out where like they were not self aware at all. Now, what self awareness is about myself, I knowing about myself, in the sense that triggers my strength, my weaknesses, what are the things that disturb me, that frustrates me. Now,
Hmm.
depending on that, there would be my reaction, right? Now, just suppose there is no inner clarity, then I should know myself that there is no clarity about something. Now, in such situation, there might be a frustration, anger when the team keeps asking you the question about something. And when you don't know that, right? But when I'm self-aware, I can actually deal with such thing, maybe the conflicting things as well, is that I would say I would deal with it calmly because I understand that it might happen in my team. So this is how the inner confusion might lead to the team. I mean, it would lead to, or it would break the team performance. So definitely you need to have the clarity, inner clarity. You have to understand that, and there should be a self-awareness in you.
Very important points. Can leaders sense misalignment before conflict surfaces?
Yes, he has to, if he is self-aware,
Okay.
because if he is connected with himself, then only it is possible for us to get connected with other people. This is not about being spiritual, but then that is what the reality is. If I have to sense that misalignment, okay,
Hmm.
I have to see, you cannot run yourself on autopilot mode, right? So what you need to do is, it's like for a leader, okay, to sense that there is a misalignment. It can be seen through the communication, how your team is communicating, especially during the meetings, okay, especially when you are having the one on one meetings, the words, like how the language that they are using. So, depending on that, you would definitely sense that misalignment. And why this misalignment happens is because they are not clear about something. So, if they are not clear about something, see, not all people are extrovert. They would not go and ask the questions, right? It's not happening in your team. So, it's like not one size fits all, not one size of the communication fits all. So, you have to really ask the insightful questions, okay, sometimes, to understand their state of mind, if they are clear about something or not. This is how there will be lot of clarity, and the clarity gives you the confidence. That's what I would say.
No, I agree because what you are saying is, if a leader can sense that issue is there, and most of the time when things are not updated or there's a gap in the communication from the team, most of the leaders understand that there's something wrong which is going, and I think there is something that we need to get in and sort this out. But the problem stays is that, will the team come forward to tell you that? Most of the time it is not.
Right.
And you get into a meeting, then you come to know there was an issue. Then we start looking at, why was the flag not raised? Is there a challenge? How deep is the problem? Then we go into looking at postmortem of the issue. Then we say, who did first, who started it, when did it occur, what was the first thing. So it becomes more of a reactive approach than a proactive approach. I think what you're saying is, we should look at proactive approaches rather than reactive approaches, and that kind of a leader will sense those kind of problems, is what you're saying. And what role does self reflection play in collective success?
Okay, self reflection is about asking yourself the questions. I would say that ask the most brutal question to yourself, because only you can do it for yourself, right? And self reflection is very important as long as the leadership is concerned. I wouldn't say it is just an introspection, but then it is more of a self reflection. Like, what exactly is going wrong in my team?
Hmm.
What happens and how would I come out of it? See, unless you understand the core problem, the core issues, and that is why we have chosen this topic. See, core issues and the core problems need to be understood first.
Hmm.
Okay. And then you can think of like what exactly we can do about it. Otherwise what happens is like when we actually run few activities, the corporate events and activities, if it does not actually address the core issues, then everything goes haywire. Then that is why there is a self reflection, that is one thing. And self reflection, as I said, would come only for the from the self awareness. Okay, asking the question to yourself, as in like what exactly is going wrong. Is it that there is a communication gap? Is there any misunderstanding in the team? Or is it that, there might be anything, there might be some conflicts going on, there is a cross functional team problems, so anything. But then if at all I want to talk about it, okay, as a team member, I need to have that positive environment in my team. Now, the leader should assure me that there is a psychological safety for me. So, I should be getting the safe space to express myself. Okay. So, this is also very important. So, for all these things, self reflection is the foundation.
Now, what you're saying is, we need to look at self awareness, bring trust, and loop action to it, so that there is clarity that we gain over the course of action or course of time, right? That's that's what you're saying. Now, how can NLP repattern behavior that blocks collaboration?
Okay, see, when it comes to NLP, just understand like what NLP is. NLP is neuro linguistic programming. Neuro is thinking about it, right? It's about thinking. Then we talk about the linguistic is about the communication, right? And the third one is acting. Like the programming is like actions that you take. So what we can use some language, okay, in NLP, which you can, for example, instead of saying that it is a criticism, that the people keep judging me, okay, or when you say that I want to defend myself, instead of that you change that language. See, here self talk is very important. Whenever the feedback is given to you, for example, I would say, then generally the first reaction to it is as if like I am blamed for something. So my first reaction would be that, okay, now this is a criticism, how can this person say this? Okay, I mean you think like it is the personal attack. So it is not. So how we can shift that whole self talk and the language that we use? Okay, I'll give you an example. So, as I said, that it is a criticism. Instead of that, just say that, okay, when it comes to criticism, I would say there are two things. One thing, ask yourself if it is true. Okay. Now, if it is true, then I should work on it. Right. And if it is not true, you are the self. I mean, here the assumption is you are the self judge of yourself. So, if it is not true, at least don't think about it, because otherwise you are actually in that loop wherein you think how this person can say this. I mean, we don't concentrate, or we don't actually focus on what is being said and how I can improve on this. Instead of that, we focus on the person who has said and how he can say this. So this shift, the mindset shift, can happen with NLP. And this, you can say that it is a feedback, it is a information that is being given to me, and it will help me in collaboration, and then it will help me improve. See, just that change and the shift in the way you're thinking about the whole situation, it would definitely give you the positivity. Otherwise what happens is, like, we generally have this habit of thinking about that one thing which has happened with you the whole, I mean, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, not coming with the actually concrete solution to it. So in that, change the language. And I would say that even the leaders need to understand, like, how they can actually use the positive language by not attacking the person, but the behavior, or maybe the outcome of it. Okay, so this is how it can definitely help.
Wonderful. I think there is a huge science behind neurolinguistic programming, right? Right. And which everyday language cues should psychological safety look at?
See, when it comes to language, I would, as I actually was saying, that NLP also talks about the language which you use, not only for the instructing others, but
Hmm.
for self instructions as well. I'll tell you why it is so important to change the language of the self talk. Because when I change the language of my self talk, my intent changes. So, my intent is not to blame you. My intent is to give you the feedback so that next time the same thing, when same thing might occur, and then you should be improving it. For example, I would say that a leader can think that if I don't control these things, okay, I'll suffer. Now just see, like, what kind of intent, the things which are going, I if I don't control these things today, I will suffer. See, these are two sentences, but then this language is a controlling, right? Now, if I say that shared control creates better collaboration,
Okay.
okay? So it is good if I highlight this, if it would be a good way to highlight something, and outcome would be a collaboration.
Okay.
My tonality will change,
Hmm.
right? My intent would change, and the whole energy and the environment in the team would change, right? So that is why it is absolutely important for a leader to understand what kind of words are we using. Yeah.
Now, because what you are saying is we are looking at one way of collaborating, one way is to share responsibility, is what you are saying, and also looking at how we can grow together using such collaborative thoughts, is what you are saying, right? Now, coming to how do the organizations systemize trust without micromanaging, because micromanaging is becoming a big problem in today's work environments, right? And and after COVID it has become much more.
Yeah, because after COVID, um, because of that hybrid culture, it's very difficult for us to
Yeah.
just have the in-person conversation. Might be
Right.
one of the reasons. Of course, we will be talking about that. But then I'll tell you, micromanagement and trust, they cannot go together. They're
True.
exactly opposite. In the sense, if at all I trust you, then I would not micromanage you,
Mm.
right? So trusting is about, I trust your intelligence. Okay, I trust that you are accountable for your work that you are doing, so I trust it. So when I trust, I micromanage, because micromanaging is more of controlling the behavior, right? In the sense, if you are doing it, you have to do in this way. That is micromanagement, right? But then when you trust that person, see, outcomes are more important, right? So as a leader, definitely you have to see that if the things are done correctly, but correctly does not mean my way,
Mm.
right? So respecting everyone's way of doing it is very important. Otherwise, what would happen is, if I keep micromanaging, then I ask them, like, you should be accountable, you should take that ownership. How would it happen, right? Because everything is being told to me. Okay, you
Mm.
have to do this way, and yahi hona chahiye. So if at all we do this, then it is definitely not building a trust. For building a trust, okay, first is, a leader has to understand that we have to make more leaders,
Mm.
right? A leader should make more leaders. And how we can make more leaders is giving them that little freedom to do the things, to think, come up with new ideas, express them. It's not that, see, there are many people who have excellent ideas, but not necessary that everyone tries to express that. Now why not? Because they feel that I might sound not very smart, or I don't know my idea is good or not. Now this is up to leader, how he creates that environment, a positive environment. So for that trust, okay, if you want to build the trust, give them a little freedom, okay, to do the things as they want, okay.
Mm.
And then secondly is, um, appreciating, ideas.
Yeah.
See, not every idea would work. I understand it. Okay, absolutely, I understand that. But when some idea is given to you, oh no, no, it will not work, I don't think, because we have already done that. See, that a small response from your side, definitely it is not a good idea, because then that person would never ever express himself or herself. So creating that psychological safety in your team is absolutely very important. And micromanagement would be a big hindrance to that, a big hindrance. And then your team would not perform the way you want.
No, you're right in saying that, because one pointer which I will agree completely is that leaders make next level of leaders, because you cannot stay in one place for very long. You need somebody to take over that work, and you need to elevate yourself as well. So my one of my bosses in my old organization Wipro, where he used to say, मैं इसी सीट में नहीं बैठना चाहता, आप मेरा सीट लो, मैं ऊपर चलता हूँ, सो व्हेन विल यू
Wow.
टेक माय रिस्पांसिबिलिटी. तो आई हैव टू ब्रिंग यू टू माय सीट, आई विल प्रिपेयर यू. सो सेकंड लेवल को मैं फर्स्ट लेवल पे लेके आके आई विल मूव अप the next ladder. I'll take another role, I'll take a different thing. I cannot do the same work for life. So you people should come up, put up yourself, and get that kind of leadership exposure, and take decisions which at times involves risks also. So he used to tell that every time every project manager who worked under the PMO for that specific person used to get that information day in out. He used to tell to every project manager, and you say, you want me to be there? no, I will not be your boss running these projects. You come and sit here, I'll move up. He's told
Right.
every project manager in the organization. So
Right.
it is the leader's responsibility to build up the second line. And
Yes.
that's how leadership is. Oh, got that. Can metrics capture emotional ROI?
Um, Now, if you ask me about the metrics, uh, see, these are there are intangible concepts.
Hmm.
Okay, and now ROI is like I will say that the value that is created through emotions. Yes, and motivation, the loyalty, this cannot be calculated as such, right? So here you need what do you say, a human thing. So it is very difficult, I would say, because trust or all these things, the matter, of course, that can be a way of what do you say, it can be a guide to you, but not the entire thing, because these are the intangible things. It's very difficult for you to because there are surveys and all, but then at the same time it is very important for us to communicate, because communication can really solve these problems rather than anything else. Because that is why I think, like, sometimes, yes, there are some intangible things which I'm really not sure whether it would do it or not. No. Yeah.
Got it.
And I would say one thing. Okay, I'll tell you one example. Actually, this happened, and in the one of the organization, I conducted the session, and they had a very positive environment among their team members, and I actually asked, like, what is the raz of it, secret of it. They said that we have open Fridays. Okay, so we actually have open Fridays, wherein we actually have people come there, and then they express their ideas, they talk about anything. So this, or they sometimes volunteer themselves for some presentations. I want to do some presentation. So this is how they did it in their organization. It really worked well for them. So yes, so these are the things which we can actually do, or these practices definitely help to build that team environment.
So taking that point, I'll tell you one thing that when I was a program manager in Wipro, used to do was uh, get the team out of the project most of
Yes.
that. Yeah, we were keeping them in the circle. Every day is work only. They didn't have time to talk apart from projects or work. So what used to happen every 3 months, Wipro being a great organization, at least for me, it is given great value. I've spent 12.8 years in that organization, and amazing thoughts, amazing experiences there. What I always learned there was they used to create leaders, and one of those main pointer was you have to take that lead to lead the team. So हमारा pointer was that every 3 months, if you are handling as a program manager, I had multiple projects and I had multiple teams also where I for
Hmm.
every project I had a budget for taking them to dinner and taking them out. So what we used to do, we never used to take it for 3 months. We used to collect it to 6 months. We get a good amount. Then we say, let's leave the place of work and move out somewhere. So we used to have small trips, 1 day trips, morning to evening, sometimes overnight trips. And we never used to talk projects. But what we used to do is bring people from different projects to the team outing.
Yes.
That way, what used to happen is many of the people who used to talk, connect, learn what is there in their projects happening without we telling itself. We didn't tell them to talk projects, but we brought them out. But what happens is there is that one unsolved issue that is there, which is in their head while they are outside also, that happens to them every time. So this kind of team bondings really help them to look at solving problems, and by the time we come out, we found most of the problems been solved while they have fixed in the mind that they can be solved, and they come
Okay.
back to office and they do that workout.
Yeah, I'll tell you one example. I mean, this is absolute, because now that you brought out this, I'll just share my experience. when I conduct the sessions, team building session or something. So one question maybe for leadership also. I asked them to discuss one question. What was your
Hmm.
first job, and what did you learn from your first job?
Okay. Yeah.
This itself is it's a big thing, in the sense like they always give me that feedback. Or really, I really felt good to talk about this because we have never discussed all these things. And when they got to, and of course your achievements as well, I said like, even though you got some prize in second standard or something, please share about that.
Yeah.
And then when they start sharing about it, and then we say like, okay, this person got 90% in 10th standard, so that was a great achievement for him. And this is something, I think that is also one of the reasons, one of the ways to create that bond, as you said very rightly. So we actually today are talking about not all the HR, I mean the company activities, but then I would say one of the ways of bonding the team is the activities, even though
Oh,
it's not the
yeah.
only way. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, coming to next question, what are new fears emerge when team never meet? That's the same point that we are talking about. Your take on it, Prachi.
Okay, the hybrid model.
Yeah, hybrid one. Yes.
Okay. See, hybrid model is really working well for many people. And of course, for IT people, definitely it is working. But then, because it actually saves the commute time and everything, so there are advantages to it. I don't deny that. But at the same time, there are few fears
Mm.
is of me being invisible. In the sense, my contribution, my dedication, is somebody noticing it? Now, that is the question. Okay, there might be fear of being like my message might be misinterpreted. Now I'll tell you why it happens. Because 55% of the communication happens through body language.
Mm.
Now when you talk, okay, in fact, like during my sessions, I definitely make sure that I tell them that when it is a virtual meeting, try and turn on your cameras,
Yeah.
because your expressions are seen. And one more tip that I would like to give for the audience as well: show your hands when you talk,
When you talk.
because it's absolutely a very interactive way of talking. Do you see, like when I actually show the hands when while talking, it is a very interactive way of talking. So this is one thing. Now difficult conversations become more difficult in the virtual setup.
Mm.
So because there might be some misunderstanding. See, people don't miss your face. They miss that feeling of safety, okay, which we have been talking about. So they miss that. The physical presence, when you're there physically with the team, they can feel that presence of yours. They understand your reactions, actions, so everything. But when it is virtual, then I might think that whether he has understood or not, there can be over communication, or there is complete silence. So this might happen. So there might be some extreme things happening when it comes to the hybrid model. Now in this case, a leader has to make point, or I would say that all the team members just don't say, okay, I got it, I
Mhm.
understood, it's okay. Just, add a few sentences to it and say that, I can see your hard work, I can see that you have put in a lot of efforts, so kudos to that. This small thing can actually bring a very good and a positive impact on your team. So in virtual setup, what you can do is go out of the way to communicate. Even though it is over communication, this is absolutely okay sometimes. But your actions and reactions are very important. So now I understand that my efforts are being seen by
Mm.
my leaders or by the other team members, or any follow up question like, how did you do that? Oh, that's great way of doing it. This one or two sentences, when you add, it creates a positive impact on the team. So in hybrid model, we have to the communication, of course it again boils down to one thing, that is communication. But this is absolutely important for the connection. Even
Mm.
the small talk just before you get down to business, You can just ask, like, how are you and how was your day, how is it going? Okay, so, and not just asking it, listening.
Listening.
Answer. I always say that when you say thank you, mean it. When you
Hmm.
say sorry, mean it. When you appreciate somebody, mean it. Because then only the clear message is actually conveyed to the other person. You speak with the heart into it, it actually reaches the other heart. So we have to understand that there is, now that we have actually we are used to this new hybrid model. Now get used to this language. That is what I would say.
True, true. Because when we look at, we most of things is cues what we give, right? And that cues only happen when, and you rightly said, we are not there next to each other. We are on a virtual environment. We don't know what is that is going on at your place that you are sitting. What is the surroundings? We don't know all these things. That happens only when you talk to them. Only challenge that I see is that we don't get that kind of a bonding when we are in the physical world, right? When we meet person to person, there's a different level of discussion that happens, but in a virtual that does not happen yet. I think that also will happen very soon is what I see. Now, how do leaders replace physical presence with psychological presence?
Yeah, the same thing which I have told you. It's about how, as I said, the small talk,
Hmm.
or maybe when there is very, okay. Now let me just tell you one thing. Whenever possible, have the in-person meetings.
Yeah.
Okay, that's absolutely, I would say that please don't escape from that, having the in-person meeting. It is very important. It's important for your team, it's important for you, because when I see the person, I can feel the presence of the person. And I can actually talk and I can see the body language, I get used to your body language. In the sense, like, I can interpret that, otherwise it is misinterpreted. Secondly, the tonality of your voice.
Hmm.
Now you might think like, this is how I talk. No, pour some enthusiasm into it. And when it is a virtual meeting, just saying like, so how are you doing, instead of that, okay, so how are you doing. See, just having that one pitch above, okay, it makes a lot of difference, by the way. We might not understand the importance of these small things, but this is very important. Secondly, when a leader has to make sure that if somebody is not speaking up in the team meetings, okay,
Hmm.
especially team meetings, so I think he has to address this issue and ask. See, there are introverts. I understand that there are introverts, and there might be some introverts. They are shy, but then at least it is a leader's responsibility uh, to make that safe space for everyone so that they speak up in the meeting. So, in the virtual world, a leader has to be really alert on this, conscious about that, address those issues, at the right time. So, timely addressing of these issues is absolutely important.
Very, very true pointers there, Prachi. I think very important is that when you have physical and psychological presence, there is a lot of difference, is what I see. What now coming to next pointer, what I want to understand: can rational teams coexist with emotional honesty?
Okay. Um, let's talk about what rationality is.
Hmm,
Yeah.
okay.
So, rational is generally, we are data driven people, evidences, data,
Okay.
logic. And emotions is about what I feel about it. Okay, my ideas and the trust and everything. Now just imagine that, okay, it's not about being rational or emotional. It is about being rational and emotional communication, so both coexist. sometimes people say that, okay, don't be emotional, we don't like emotional talks and all, or don't pour emotions in it. But I would say that we are human beings, we come with
Hmm.
emotions.
True.
Rationality is very important in decision making. I don't deny the importance of it. But then, if you dive deep into this argument, whether there should be emotion, see why people avoid this emotional conversation, because there is a unpredictability to that,
Okay.
right? So that is why it might be. But then, when you have the emotional connect as well, when this communication, okay, happens, this emotional, when it is done, the next thing is you can actually focus, because then you can focus only on the rationality then,
Hmm.
right? So this is exactly what happens. So emotional honesty, very important, because rationality of course would give you that data and everything, but emotions is about your, okay, I would say that IQ, that is your emotional quotient, is giving you everything, the planning, the strategies and everything, while EQ helps you to stay motivated, and the trust as well, trust building.
Now that you've spoken about EQ and IQ, where does EQ beat IQ in project execution?
Okay, very important question actually. uh, IQ can give you the solution to the problem.
Hmm.
EQ gives you the correct implementation of it.
True.
Because uh, I will be involved intellectually
Hmm.
and emotionally in the execution only when I connect with the goals. I understand the goals, but I should be connected with it.
Hmm.
And this connection can happen only through the empathy, empathetic communication. See, just imagine that you are emotionally disturbed,
Hmm.
okay? And then you have to, or there's something has happened and you are not able to do something, okay? There's some issue. You'll not be able to perform. Even though I have understood, I have a great IQ, okay? Everything is done. But if that is not addressed, the execution would definitely fail. So it is absolutely important to have that connection. Um, and there was one company. It was an engineering firm. So of course they used to work around the data and the evidences and everything, the strategic planning.
Hmm.
But then they actually got to understand one issue, and that is what I mean, I before when I was doing the need analysis, so that time I got to know about that. So when I actually asked many questions to the team, that I understood that many people they don't speak up.
Hmm.
When I actually dive deep inside it and they think what exactly is happening, so I got to know that there is no connect. So they are told to do something, they are doing it. So there's no connect. Nobody's asking, nobody's speaking up. They're just taking the instructions from the leadership. They're doing it. See, they are doing it. But then when you have the heart, see, your heart, head, everything has to be there. And then the outcome would be really, what do you say? It will be a miracle. Right.
I think that kind of miracles are needed in projects that are going hayway today with whatever is happening. Now, what you are saying is emotion is the data and with a heartbeat. So you need to look at emotion in that level of a heartbeat is what you are saying. Now, why do traditional teams activities often backfire?
I wouldn't say often backfire, but then they do backfire
Mhm.
sometimes. Okay, so traditional activities is all about the social events, the parties, and everything. Those are important.
Okay.
As you were actually sharing that example of your team when you used to go out and all.
Yeah.
So that team bonding is very important. Even the team building sessions and everything is very important. When it backfires, I'll tell you. When you don't address the root cause of
Hmm.
why team bonding is not happening, the root cause of it. Okay, that analysis has to be done. And secondly, sometimes it is a forced fun.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes the people don't want to do it. So you cannot have, because everyone has a different, see, we are individuals,
Hmm.
not us, not one thing fits all. So
Right.
my way of learning might be absolutely different than your way of learning. My way of collaborating, my thinking about collaboration might be absolutely different. So these activities would definitely help when when uh, the root cause of it is diagnosed properly. Okay, so it backfires only when we think like it would be fun for everyone. It might not be. So it should not be forced, but at the same time it should be designed, okay, with purpose. Now even though you actually have the events organized or any training organized, it has to happen with purpose. Because it should not happen that, okay, so let's have fun, no, I mean, then we will have, no, there should be some purpose behind
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's now, suppose the problem is the cross functional team, okay, there is some conflict. Yeah, now I have to design it in such a way that these two uh, you know teams would actually talk with each other. They would come together to solve some problems. So this is how I can actually have the team bonding. So it would backfire only when these issues or these things are not considered when you actually organize these things. So I think these all things are absolutely important. Consider that, and then thoughtfully it should be designed. Otherwise, yeah, that otherwise it's good idea actually.
Now I'll take two more questions as we are on top of the. What replaces artificial bonding with authentic connections? That's the first question. Then, how does personal clarity translate to business resilience? These are two questions that I want to take it from you.
Okay, so let's talk about business resilience. Business resilience is about, see, organization definitely goes through ups and downs.
Yeah.
So how it bounces back,
Hmm.
right? And when I talk about organization is nothing but the people,
Yeah.
right?
True.
So when the people have that capacity to absorb that stress, the organization has that capacity to absorb that stress, right?
Are we saying that risk appetite that they can take up is in other ways, right?
Yeah, exactly. And for that, when it comes to the resilience, personal clarity,
Hmm.
clarity in the sense, I'll tell you, I mean, there was some supply chain crisis that happened during COVID only. So
Hmm.
I was talking to one of the very senior members, and he said, like, I'm absolutely clear about two, three things, that the customer comes first. So I just told my team that the customer comes first.
Trust.
He
Yeah.
said that there should be a transparent communication. So I'm very clear about that. So just, call me anytime. And if there is a problem, so I want complete transparency in the communication. And he said, like, I want to protect my team's morale. Okay. So he was so clear about it. This is the personal clarity which I'm talking about, right? So I mean, with this personal clarity, then it sharpens your decision making ability, right?
Hmm.
And it actually, when and then you're consistent with your communication, with your decision making, you become predictable as well, because you know exactly to, when you have the personal clarity. So I think then the resilience would definitely be built with the personal clarity, so it has to be there. And your second question was about artificial bond, right?
Right.
This is
With
the
authentic
authentic
connection.
bond.
Connection. Yeah.
Yes. I think the question itself tells the answer.
Hmm.
Is the artificial bond, there is no bond called artificial bond. I
Hmm.
don't think so, because
Okay.
uh, bond is always authentic. Otherwise, there is no bond.
Hmm.
There has to be some authenticity in it. Otherwise, it is just that we are working together, but if there is no connection, there is no bond, then it is very difficult. Because I'll tell you what happens when there is no bond. I always look at the communication through some filters,
Hmm.
and that might be a bias filter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when there is no authenticity, there might be some biases, and that would definitely affect the team building and team bonding. Yes.
Very important points. Now, with that, we are top of the hour. I see some questions or pointer messages coming here, so I'll bring them up here, Prachi, for you to have them viewed. So let me bring them here. Give me a second. So first is with Peter Prachee says, awesome sharing experience, Prachi. Kudos to
Okay,
all.
thank you, Peter.
Yeah. Then we have Peter again says, very true for one of the point. Now we have somebody, Lakshmi says, excellent examples, Prati.
Thank you,
That's also,
Lakshmi.
yeah. Again, I think Lakshmi, Aparna says, well said for one of the pointers that you said.
Thank
And
you,
again,
Aparna.
Peter Wright says, Prem Dil se amazing sharing of thoughts. Thank you, Peter. Coming again, Peter has one more awesome uh, for the soul, right? I didn't get mana. Is I don't know what exactly is that. Awesome. Sorry, Peter, I could not understand that word, but thank you for that. Then we have Lakshmi again saying, show online meetings. Totally agree. Where I think she is talking about switching on the camera while you are there in meetings, is what I
Yes.
think is what she's agreeing. Thank you, Lakshmi, for that. Now we have Narayanan saying that valuable minutes on how to communicate effectively is one thing.
Thank you, Narayan.
Thank you. And the last point that we have is need to empower teams with speak up culture, because this point I would like to add is because most of the time people don't speak up. They feel they are not heard and they leave their ideas on the table without even speaking them. So that's what I think this question is coming up, where you need to empower the team to speak up in meetings and share their thoughts and pointers. I think that's where your take on that, Prachi.
Of course, speak up culture has to be built,
Mm,
because, see, it's very important, because it actually gives equal chance to everyone to express, which
mm,
is absolutely very important. And why it is not happening, that also I'll tell you. Because as I said, that there are people who are introvert, so you have to go out of the way to ask them.
ask them.
So
Yeah,
they might not take the initiative, and they might not even I mean, so that is very important. And when you have the one-on-one meetings, appreciate them, saying
yeah.
that, oh, that's a great point. Now when I say this, okay, say this, so this would be a motivating thing for the people. So it
True.
won't happen that, okay, people speak up because it's the
Mm,
meeting, you all
yeah.
should do. So it would not happen
I think
unless, yeah,
what
so
you're saying is ask for feedback, saying that anybody has other thoughts, any review, or any views on what we said. Do you have some pointer where you can add, or you say something is missing that we are
and
tracking?
appreciate,
Appreciate
motivate
them
them.
saying that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That,
As I said, just don't say, okay, yeah, I got it. No, that is not something motivating. So you can say that, oh, yeah, that's a great point. Can you please elaborate on that? Right. So this is how the people get that, environment, a positive environment where I can speak something. So, you need to create that safe space for the people to speak up. Then only it would happen.
so I have Peter saying mana is food for the soul.
Mana is like the mind, he is saying, might be.
Okay, okay.
Hmm.
Thank you, Peter, for that clarification. And with this, I think we have done with the pointers that we were
Yes.
saying. Few takeaways that I have noted when we are speaking. Team building starts with self awareness, and
Yes.
that's what we started with. No schedules, first point. Second is language programs, trust and transparency, right? That's how you make that pointers where you say this is the trust, this is where we are transparently talking about without any barriers there. Inner clarity reduces outer conflict, because when you have clarity you don't have a conflicting opinions that you tell.
Yes.
So you give them very clearly. Feedback culture thrives only on psychological safety, or
Right.
right. And technology can amplify connections if guided with empathy. So very important point, because technology is what we've been embodying after COVID. At least for everything that we want is, we have something that runs on technology, and with that we look at what kind of empathy that can be added while we amplify the connections that we are having. Now every connection is a virtual connection, please note. Gone are those days where you had family meetings, and so family meetings also have come to the virtual environment now. Now you
Absolutely.
have Zoom calls, now you have Zoom chats, video calls on WhatsApp, and
Yes.
these are the pointers that is happening in the family things also. So you will have to bring connection through technology only, otherwise we cannot do anything, is what we understand from our very. Now with that, on the closing part, what we did was, we led, if you were to lead a team and feel no amount of activities built true bonding, then this is the episode that you should look at, is what I would say, because we've shared a lot of insights. uh, Share your conversation with the people you feel needs to know these kind of pointers, and have that clarity built. From group building to clarity building is what I would like to say. And thank you for joining Power of Knowing. And don't just train leaders, we tune them into. And the
Absolutely.
the kind of knowledge we get with leaders and speakers like Prachi and others in this podcast is amazing. And what we have done to keep that live, we've streamlined or streamed all the podcasts to our YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and Instagram feeds, social media, where you can find even the reels coming up on small pointers that we are doing. Hope you found this session valuable, and thank you for joining us on LinkedIn Live today. Our next episode is going to be on next Tuesday on a technological front again, which we will be publishing very soon. Thank you for joining, everybody. Thank you, Prachi, for being here. It's
Yeah, thank
great.
you so much for inviting. Thank you so much, audience.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Good day. Bye.
Yeah, you too.